Now for an in-depth talk about her ongoing series is our chief investigative reporter, Lynn Kawano. Lynn, these series of stories that you're putting together is really fascinating, and tonight's story actually talks about Oahu Correctional, or OCCC. Let's start with some background here. OCCC is overcrowded, dated, and needs to be rebuilt. Why has it not been?
Yeah, right. It is so overcrowded, right? 4 to a cell that's meant for 2. Some people sleeping on the floor. It's just not good. It's not conducive to help with rehabilitation. And most of the people here actually are pretrial detainees, meaning they haven't even had their trials yet. They do have some people who have been sentenced, but less than a year. So it's not a long-term facility for these people, but it still needs to be a better facility for these people. It's just not working. So far, we have determined, the governor's determined that the site is going to be at the animal quarantine site in Halawa, so we know that. But really, not much has been done. We went out there, and that's part of the story that airs tonight. We went out there with the current new director of corrections, Tommy Johnson. He talks a little bit about it, and he says it is just all on hold. Everything is on hold due to funding. They asked for $15 million last year from the legislature to start planning, to get things off the ground. They were denied. And so that's where they are right now. They're waiting, and they really just have to get that money in the next legislative session so that they can move forward.
Yeah, we do have a new governor now, and the legislative session will be starting in January. Looking forward, do you think they will get any movement on this funding request?
I do think that this has got to be a priority. What happened last session was part of it, they wanted to deal with bail reform because, as I said, a lot of these are pretrial detainees, so bail is an issue, right? And when we have people in there with $25 bail, they're really not that dangerous, obviously. If not, a judge would make their bail higher. So the overcrowding just kind of continues. They wanted to deal with bail reform bills, and that was a huge controversy and really did not move forward. So I do think that they'll at least make a good case to get that $15 million so that they can start planning, they can start designing, and they can get it off the ground. Originally, they were supposed to be breaking ground already on this jail, and it was probably going to be completed by the end of next year. So, of course, who knows when that's actually going to happen.
So some significant delays here. One more question for you. Put this into some context for us. If OCCC is rebuilt, would that mean Hawaii would no longer have to send prisoners all the way to Arizona?
It is kind of an apples to oranges here because OCCC is a jail and Saguaro is the prison. Halawa is not overcrowded at the moment, so we could take some of those prisoners back. The problem is that's 1,000 prisoners at Saguaro right now. So, you know, it's one of those things where OCCC holds lower sentenced prisoners. But yeah, absolutely. You know, if you think about it, if we build a new jail, if we build OCCC, but we make it so it's expandable and perhaps can ease some of the burden off of the other jails, but also help take things away from Halawa, take people away from Halawa. It is possible, but not in the near term. I mean, we're talking 10 years down the road at the very least.
Got it. Well, Chief Investigative Reporter Lynn Kawano joining us here to talk more. Part 2 of her series, Inside Saguaro Prison, airs tonight on Hawaii News Now at 6 o'clock. Lynn, thank you so much for your time.
Of course.